They say betrayal doesn't always come with a knife in the back. It sometimes comes wrapped in love, ultimatums, and control disguised as care. I thought I had everything figured out. A steady relationship, a plan for the future, and a partner who swore he only wanted the best for me. But the truth revealed itself in the most unexpected way, on a trip that was supposed to bring me freedom. One photo, just a single bikini picture with my best friend, unraveled everything I thought was real. What followed wasn't just heartbreak. It was the kind of revelation that forces you to question who really holds the power in your life, you or the person you love. I grew up believing that trust was the cornerstone of every relationship. My parents drilled it into me. Without honesty, without loyalty, you have nothing. So when I met Daniel, I mistook his attention for love and his control for protection. Daniel and I had been dating for 3 years. On the outside, people thought we were the perfect couple. He was charismatic, ambitious, and confident. He had this way of making people feel like they mattered, of commanding a room without even trying. But behind closed doors, his confidence sometimes shifted into something darker, possessiveness disguised as passion. It started small. He would ask me to text him when I got home, then when I left the house, then while I was out with friends. At first, it felt sweet, like he cared. But soon, the questions sharpened. Who were you with? Why didn't you answer immediately? Who's that guy commenting on your post? I brushed it off, convincing myself it was just insecurity, that we all have flaws. And after all, wasn't it normal to compromise in relationships? But the compromises began stacking up. I stopped going out as much. I deleted old friends from social media if they made him uncomfortable. I chose clothes that wouldn't spark his comments. And slowly, without even realizing it, my world became smaller until it was almost entirely defined by him. The breaking point came when my childhood best friend, Marcus, invited me on a beach trip with a group of old friends. Marcus and I had grown up like siblings. Our mothers were best friends, our families vacationed together, and he had been my rock during some of my darkest times. But Daniel never liked Marcus. He said men and women couldn't be just friends, that Marcus clearly wanted more. I always rolled my eyes at the jealousy, because Marcus was happily engaged to his fiancée, and his loyalty to her was obvious. When the trip came up, Daniel's reaction was immediate and harsh. He sat me down, staring at me with that intensity that once felt like love, but now made my stomach knot. If you go on that trip, he said, we're done. I won't be disrespected like that. An ultimatum. For days, I wrestled with it. Part of me wanted to avoid conflict, to stay in the cocoon of the relationship I'd invested so much into. But another part of me, the part that had been suffocating under the weight of his rules, was desperate for air. That's when I realized, if someone loves you, they don't trap you. They don't force you to choose between freedom and them. So I made my decision. I packed my bags, ignored his calls, and left for the beach. The first breath of sea air felt like freedom itself. The sun was warm on my skin, the laughter of old friends filled the air, and for the first time in months, I felt like myself again. Marcus was there, cracking jokes, reminding me of inside stories only he and I would understand. His fiancée joined us later in the week, and the comfort of being around people who knew me before Daniel was like medicine. Still, the guilt lingered. My phone buzzed constantly with Daniel's messages, at first pleading, then furious, then silent. I turned it face down, but every vibration felt like a chain tugging me back. On the third day, we decided to take pictures by the water. The ocean sparkled, the sand glowed under the afternoon sun, and Marcus, being his goofy self, splashed water at me until I was doubled over in laughter. Someone snapped the photo at that exact moment, me in a bikini, laughing with Marcus beside me, both of us carefree, the world far away. It was innocent. It was joy. It was everything Daniel hated. I didn't think much of it when I posted the picture on Instagram. To me, it was just a memory captured. But within minutes, the storm began. Hundreds of likes rolled in. Comments from friends saying how happy I looked. And then, Daniel's comment. So this is who you really are. I froze. The messages poured in after. He accused me of disrespect, of betrayal, of humiliating him publicly. He twisted every detail, my laughter, my clothes, Marcus's presence, into proof that I was unfaithful. He said I'd ruined him, that I'd destroyed everything we built. My chest tightened with panic. I wanted to defend myself, to explain that it was innocent, that Marcus was practically family. But deep down, I knew it wasn't about the photo. It was about control. It always had been. The rest of the trip became a blur of emotions. Part of me wanted to hide from the world, to take the picture down and apologize just to make the storm stop. But another part of me, the stronger part, knew this was the moment to stand my ground. Because if love demanded that I shrink, then it wasn't love at all. When I returned home, Daniel was waiting. Not at my apartment. He was outside, leaning against his car, arms crossed, eyes burning with a mixture of anger and desperation. The confrontation was inevitable. He demanded explanations, apologies, promises I couldn't give. His voice rose, his hands clenched, and for a moment, fear flickered in my chest. But then, something shifted. I looked at him, the man I thought I loved, and I saw not a partner, but a cage. Every demand, every rule, every ultimatum had been another bar on the prison he built around me. And the truth was blinding. I didn't betray him. He betrayed me. He betrayed the trust one placed in him when he turned love into ownership, when he twisted care into control. He said I embarrassed him. I told him he suffocated me. He said I disrespected him. I told him he broke me. And then, with more strength than I knew I had, I said the words that ended it all. I don't belong to you. The silence that followed was deafening. His face hardened, his pride wounded, and without another word, he got into his car and drove away. I stood there, shaking, tears burning my eyes, not from regret, but from release. For the first time in years, the weight lifted. The chains were gone. The days that followed weren't easy. I dealt with whispers, with people asking questions, with Daniel's lingering attempts to reach out. He tried to guilt me, to remind me of the good times, to lure me back into his grasp. But I stayed firm. Because the truth was clear, ultimatums aren't love. Control isn't love. Ownership isn't love. Love is freedom. Love is trust. Love is allowing someone to laugh by the ocean with their best friend and not see it as betrayal. That trip wasn't about Marcus or a bikini picture or even Instagram. It was about reclaiming myself. About realizing that no relationship is worth losing who you are. And as I scrolled through that photo weeks later, the one that sparked the end, I didn't see betrayal. I saw joy. I saw liberation. I saw the beginning of a new chapter. So here's the truth I want to leave you with. Sometimes, the greatest betrayal isn't what someone does to us, but what we allow ourselves to endure in the name of love. And the question I'll leave with you is this. Backhand index pointing right, have you ever mistaken control for love? And how many chains are you still carrying, thinking they're someone else's embrace?